We appreciate that. We are going to start off, of course, with our cringe corporate speak, and Jamie is taking point on that. And then we will pivot into our hot topic for today, which is all about toxic positivity, right? Another kind of buzzy term we're seeing and hearing about in the workplace and across the socials. What does it mean? Why do we do it? All the things, right? We'll ask those questions and attempt to answer them. And then, of course, we will transition into questions and comments and close out this wonderful meeting. Jamie.
Yeah, so our cringy corporate speak today is too many balls in the air.
Oh, after that horse story.
I know, right?
Okay. It gives it new meaning.
Is it fitting?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you tend to hear this cringe speak?
Yeah,
What is
like
it?
I have got too much going on.
Yeah.
I've got too many balls in the air. Why am I doing the hand motion?
Because you're juggling. That's what it
yeah.
means.
Juggling.
I've
Can
got
you guys
too many
juggle?
balls in the air. Yeah, I can juggle.
You can juggle.
I saw you juggle last
You
night.
saw me.
Oh,
I
yeah,
juggled
you
in the
were
ball
juggling
pit.
some
Yeah, in the ball pit.
Yeah.
But not well, honestly. But
But
Yeah.
side note, I learned to juggle in like 4th grade gym class.
That was a lesson in there?
Yes.
It was
As well as
Oh.
square dancing, of course. But,
I do.
Exactly.
yeah. But no, I'm not kidding. We
God
first
forbid we
learned
learn
with
how to do our taxes.
yeah, I know, like yeah.
Oh,
Square
gosh,
dance.
let's just square dance.
I learned with scarves first.
Yes,
and then
and then
Oh my
I learned
gosh,
same. I
really?
learned with scarves and tennis, but I learned at clown camp, and that's the difference.
Oh.
So,
Oh, yeah, she's professionally trained,
Yeah,
is what
and
you're saying. You just went
professionally.
public.
yeah, I didn't perfect the unicycle.
Tennessee public school.
Okay. Kentucky was right there with you, friend.
Oh,
Clown
dang it.
presence. Yeah, so let's try to sneak that into today's episode.
All right, too many balls in the air.
We
That's
got a
what
lot
it
of
is, right?
balls in
It's all
the air.
about juggling stuff is what that means. You got too much going on.
I know, because you can just say, I have a lot going on. I need to figure out how to prioritize, and if there's anything that I can actually move off.
Yeah.
See, that's a little long, right? So now I do see why maybe we say, that was like 4 lines.
You're like listening.
I know,
You only
yeah.
have so much time with your boss. You're not wrong. You're not
exactly.
wrong.
Instead, you could just go and do this cringy
Yeah.
like juggle movement with your head. I got too many balls in
People
the
know, but if
air.
someone saw, I
Yeah.
probably understand even with that motion alone. Someone like,
Oh.
I'm busy.
Can you help me? And you're doing the juggle hands. I'm fucked. I'm like, leave me alone. I've got too many balls. I've got too many horse balls in the air. All righty, great. Well, that was informative, and we appreciate you, Jamie.
Okay.
Now transitioning to our meeting hot topic, all about toxic positivity. What the hell is toxic positivity?
That's a legit question.
Jamie.
Thank you for asking.
Yes.
'cause I brought up the Google yet again. Toxic positivity is the belief that no matter how dire or difficult a situation is, people should maintain a positive mindset. While there are benefits to being optimistic and engaging in positive thinking, toxic positivity rejects all difficult emotions in favor of cheerful and often falsely positive facade. Yeah. So it's basically like you can't bitch here.
Yeah. You can't be human, perhaps, and
you
feel
can't have emotions.
Right.
and
Yeah. like
process.
you're not allowed to have
It's
those
bad.
emotions. Yeah.
It's too negative.
Yeah.
Where
right?
do you tend to see that happen in the workplace? What situations?
I would see that often from like upper level
Yeah.
leadership,
Yep.
right? Like call a spade, motherfucker. Like, this boat's
Yeah.
going down.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they will do this language that's very, like
Yeah.
pomp and circumstance
Mhm.
and pretty and all of
Yeah.
this. And
Mhm.
you were all in this together, which is true. But hey, we got to keep fighting. We got to keep going. We got to do this. We got to do
Mhm.
that. Let's not address the problems
Yeah.
over here. Let's
Right.
sweep it under the rug. It's kind of like that
Right.
attitude,
Mhm.
when really as an employee, you're like, gosh, can you just like be transparent and honest that this ain't good? We're probably closing up shop or something's got to
Yeah.
shift or change
Yep.
for us to actually
Right.
survive. And let's address the problem, please. Like, can we problem solve for something?
yeah.
What can we do to support that?
Yes.
And so they do kind of just this pretty games,
Right.
pretty words, words,
Mhm.
words.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
see it a lot, I feel.
Yeah. I see it too from leadership, mostly pushing that agenda. And then, of course, being in the HR space, you are hearing those negative things. You're helping
Yeah.
to have people
Toxic
be
negativity.
able. Yeah.
There's plenty of that.
You're
as well.
helping people to kind of like work through those emotions and listen to, their frustration or their anger or,
Right.
Whatever it is. So, but I also feel like HR can be part of the toxic positivity.
Oh yeah.
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 Where and I won't say us per se, the three of us.
No, we're perfect.
But yeah,
yes, go
we're
ahead.
we're fucking perfect. But no, I mean, I've even seen it like from my coworkers before, where
Mhm.
they're pushing this, we're fine,
Right.
Yeah.
responding to Glassdoor's review themselves, and just like almost creating more of a show and a
Yes.
spectacle
Yeah.
Yeah.
on
Performance, right?
on these things, as opposed to just like actually truly addressing them and taking care of them. And
Boy, that's a good one, Jay. I mean, I think that Glassdoor is an example because, like, I was thinking of it with like the beginning of COVID when like so many leaders would be like, "We're all going back to work in like 2 weeks' time," and it's all. But instead, saying like,
Yeah.
"This is our hope," and if that does, let's lay out the scenarios that can happen and what could possibly happen in
The
those.
power
And I think
of language.
power of language and
Mhm.
communication, and the same in layoffs. Like when you had those leaders that were like, "We're not doing any layoffs." And
Yeah.
you're like, well,
Yeah. You're
like,
sitting
and
there
like,
as
the
HR
ghost
like,
of Christmas
whoa.
future is
Yep.
like, let me tell you. But I hadn't thought about that. I think your point on Glassdoor is a good one, especially in the context of HR, because sometimes you'll see those like savage.
Oh,
And
yeah.
again, Glassdoor, it's like anything, because like
exactly,
sometimes
It's
you
like
can read
Yelp
that and you're
reviews.
like, okay, I know who that person is, and
Oh,
like there's
yeah.
a lot more to this
Yeah,
Mhm.
I know
story,
the
and I
backstory
hear
to
right,
this.
okay, but other times you read things and you're like, what this person is saying is like
facts.
either two things. One is like, yeah, I know they're absolutely true, and what they're saying is about this leader, and
Yeah.
that leader's never going anywhere. So like,
Yeah.
how am I going to handle this? Or they bring up something like, I hadn't heard that. What do I do with this? And so sometimes those in HR, their response will be to like respond with the fluffy, like, thanks, we love you so much. If you have anything else, please DM me privately or message me privately on this
Yes.
email address on those things. And that's the most common refrain you say. And you understand that because people do want to, and you probably don't. And also, it's like, it's not like a comment section where they can continuously comment back and forth.
Yeah.
Like there's no
One and
option to do
done.
that. There's no
Yeah.
option other than respond to this. But I think if you saw some Glassdoor comments that had more like
We fucked
substance
up.
and saying
You're
like,
right. We're
people
bad.
aren't,
We're
and
bad.
we want to,
Yeah.
but that's a like that one in HR of like, if you know there's a leader and that person's not going anywhere and what that person said is absolutely happened, or thanks, responding like fluffy, like, love you, like, okay, you're the best. And then
Thanks for the
how
feedback.
do you
Smiley
bring
face.
then how do you bring that up to this leader in the workplace? Like, do that with your resume at the ready, and Paige
Yeah.
Sparks'
Oh,
number
okay.
on your
Okay.
style on your cell
For real.
phone. If you don't know
Yeah.
Paige
Yeah.
Sparks, then go follow her. She's good stuff.
I don't know because I don't know nobody.
You're not on the social.
No, I don't
You're
know
not
nothing.
in the
I'm not in the
socials.
socials. I'm just,
I'm just
on them.
on them.
Yeah,
On
I'm
the
just on them. I
socials.
don't know nobody.
But that is an area where I think HR can fall
Mm-hmm.
into that trap of toxic positivity, and it's a hard one because it's hard to figure out where it's hard to influence when your job's at stake.
Yeah.
It is so
Yeah.
true. But there definitely is a line. To your point, Jamie, that some HR professionals cross, and it's a dangerous one. This toxic positivity line where you're just bullshitting people.
Yeah.
Because it's at the sake of your credibility and relationship and of trust that you've built with your employees.
Yep.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a conversation that you can have with an employee. And I've had it so many times to say, I hear you and I appreciate you sharing with me. This is the reality that we're in right now. Right. And I totally get it. And I know it sucks. It sucks for me too. I understand. Like I empathize. I know, what can we do together to move forward? What, you know what I mean? Like there is this opportunity to have like kind of this, I don't want to say the word unionization, but this connection with the employee. We would never say that, depending on where you work. There's this opportunity though, to continue building a stronger relationship with your workforce versus bullshitting them, which to me, it's like turning your back to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You really create a
Yeah.
divide and they will call you on your shit
Yeah.
No, they
so fast.
Yeah.
Totally.
And that's why, we've mentioned it numerous times. Transparency is so important.
and decisiveness.
And you can provide, and granted, don't get me wrong, sometimes you can't provide 100% of the information,
No.
but there is options, and transparency is important, and people need it, they crave it, they want it.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's the whole thing. Like when we talk about HR being demonized, oh, they're always representing the company, which is
Yeah.
dumb because who do you work for, bitch? We
Yeah,
all work for the
right.
company.
Yeah,
but
we're all
anyways, that's
employees
like
of
the
the
dumbest thing I've
company,
ever
yeah.
heard. We are literally all representing the organization, but it's because of things like that. It's because of bullshitting people
Mhm.
and not being real and honest. That doesn't mean you have to tell them all the company's secrets.
Exactly.
It's just literally they just want to be heard.
Yeah.
They want to have the conversation. They want to get it out. Don't sit there and be like everything's perfect. Be like, I can see you hurting.
Yeah.
Like you
Right.
can have an honest
It's a-
conversation
yeah,
it's
in
why-
a
I mean,
difficult
It's why
topic.
it's hard. It's hard in a lot of ways right now. I think you're especially seeing this in industries like tech that have been hard hit,
Oof.
where it's like they've had
blasted. right?
layoff
Oh.
after layoff after
Mhm.
layoff round. And so to Lee's point, there are people that are real because they're looking at the job market is like, and they're seeing the
Mhm.
posts of people
Mhm.
saying like,
Yeah.
it's really hard out here. And HR professionals that have had the job loss, it's really hard out
Absolutely.
here
Yeah.
for
We
every,
are all affected.
but that's why it's hard in these to like, and so in the layoff context and things like that, I say like being decisive. We were just talking to, when I was just talking to somebody that talked about how, they were told, yeah, you're going to have a conversation in a week's time. And they were like, I knew I was going to get laid off. And I'm like, in my heart, they're telling this story and they're like, things were kind of okay. But I'm like, oh, like, it's just cruel. And it's hard. And I get it that everybody's in a tough position. HR can be in a tough position because so many people are going to be asking you that question,
absolutely.
and that they're not going to ask their boss as
Yep.
much, or their boss is going to be like, I don't know, go talk to your
Of
your
course.
agent. I don't know. Let me talk to HR.
Pass the buck.
HR. I don't know. I'd have to ask HR.
Yeah.
But and I get it why leaders of an organization don't want to announce it right away because they're like, okay, well, we have we're still trying
Yeah.
to drive. Like it's hard not to do these things, but it's hard to do these things. But in the HR world of being decisive and thinking about when there's going to be information, telling people, because putting people in this land of uncertainty
Mhm.
is
Cruel.
is cruel, especially having that positivity on top of it. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
we're doing our best, because then the surprise feels so much worse.
It does. It does.
Or like raises, we're trying to figure out like maybe we'll do raises this year, and then all of a sudden it trickles down. You don't hear anything, and people are like,
They love to
the
fall
people don't
silent.
forget. People do not
Mm-mm.
forget that they will
Mm-mm.
remember when you say that.
Yeah.
But especially
yeah.
for HR pros, there's a way to balance still advocating for the company and
Yeah.
its position and actually giving a shit about employees
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and not sacrificing that relationship that you've worked so hard to build.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think ways you can do it are to say that when you can influence leaders, sometimes that leader's your own boss. Sometimes that leader is outside of the HR organization, but saying, if you see things that you're doing and saying, well, if we do these things, this is what the impact's going to be. And this is how it's going to be reputationally on the company. And this is going to filter to customer, things like that. Because if you're in HR and you're trying to push change by saying this would be a nice thing to do, like you're not going to make much headway when you're going to have nice to haves. But if you can say, which is true, things about how the company is perceived, sometimes that's what it takes for your message to be heard.
You know where there is a lot of toxic positivity, per the previous question 10 minutes ago? LinkedIn. That is like a minefield
Oh
of
my
toxic
gosh,
positivity,
yes.
you know, right?
Yeah.
Like everything. And I think
Yes.
there is a lot of conversation on
Yes.
LinkedIn about that too,
Yes.
right?
Oh my
Of
God.
just people like, don't worry, everything's fine. Da, 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 da.
Yes,
You know what I
yes,
mean? Like
yes.
it's just,
People will
'cause it's
tell
that
you.
fake.
Someone,
it's
oh
fake
my gosh,
shit.
someone the other day said, literally someone had a post and they said, if you're the right person for the job, people won't ghost you. And people only go, and
Yeah,
it was so,
Yeah. No.
it was really
Not
bad.
facts. Not
Yeah.
facts.
Really bad,
Don't believe
and
that for a
that's-
second.
No,
Yeah.
There's lots of variables in that. Just
Yes.
saying.
exactly.
Yes.
But
Heather.
yes,
I'm still bitter. It's only been 20
it's
years.
fine. I'm gonna
That's
go.
okay.
I'm gonna go
I'm
from
just
San
waiting.
Antonio. I'm gonna go to Charlotte. I'm just gonna show up at this law firm one day with a new briefcase. I'm gonna wear an Elle
I'm
Woods
starting, bitch.
pink suit, and here I am. It was all
Mhm.
men, so they'd notice me.
Oh, gosh. But yeah, the toxic positivity runs rampant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's very disappointing to say the least.
I was being a little cheeky earlier with toxic negativity. That's not a thing, but it should be.
I do think because it
We
is a
can
real
make it a
thing.
thing. No, it
I
is a
had not heard
literal
it phrased
thing.
that way, but it is.
Yeah.
Toxic
Future episode.
toxic
toxic negativity.
positivity is essentially gaslighting.
Yeah, it's all
It's
Yeah.
fake.
literally gaslighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
You're in with
corporate.
us,
It's
right.
like
It's corporate
corporate
gaslighting.
gaslighting.
Yeah.
See, that was too long.
Yeah.
Barely. Toxic positivity is just like 2 letters shorter or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
I
gonna
didn't do the
count
math.
them.
I'm just
gonna
guessing.
count 'em. I'm gonna
I
put
know
them up
you
on, like, a
will.
wheel
You'll
of
do the
form.
yeah,
It's gonna- I'm
exactly.
not
Like,
feeling
that's-
sleep
I know.
tonight.
Yeah, you might have to count it.
Like
Yeah.
my son.
I'm not going to text you. I'm not
Counting
calling you. I'm
syllables.
going to text you. And
But
like, you know.
I knew you were going to do that. You know, someone's going to fact check me. That's fine. I don't give a shit.
No, I'm just curious in my mind.
No, I know.
I'm not,
yeah,
it's-
no,
not
I'm
trying
saying
to-
people are gonna DM me about it.
that's
I
what
ain't gonna
happens.
give a shit.
Me,
You can.
if you knew.
Yeah, exactly. You
But
know?
like, look, I got too many balls in the air for
Oh,
this.
Hey, there you go.
Okay. Speaking of, questions and comments. We got way too many balls, aka meetings, to get to, so we better transition. Any questions or comments?
I mean, I think I'd say in toxic positivity, if your organization has gone through a layoff does not just impact the people who are laid off, and it does not just it does not just impact those people for one day. And so if you've gone through that, reminding people to check in on those people that were affected, that were laid off, and also the people that stay behind, because part of toxic positivity is you feel like the layoff is done, and then people are like, okay, now let's move on to the future.
it.
Now we've, whether you use the term right size or things like that, which is a term, but it's just reminding, trying to flip. There are a lot of people that stay behind that have those feelings of guilt and things like that. And so,
But also anxiety too.
yeah, of course, because they don't
Like,
Absolutely.
they think
am I next
it's
on the
next.
chopping block?
And so, like, reminding them, if you try to be positive, again, everyone wants to keep jobs and try to make money, but you
Mhm.
also got to balance that with the recognition that there's a lot of emotional trauma that people have gone through.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'll just make the comment that, to that point, I love positivity, right? I mean, I'm definitely not a Debbie Downer, I don't think. I'm a realist, but I'm not like,
Yeah.
I'm very positive,
Yeah.
right? I always think the future is bright, which I like, right? I like being optimistic,
Yeah.
and shit like that. And whatever bullshit,
I
Yeah.
really visualize you saying that.
yeah, but whatever
Yeah.
bullshit, But especially if you're a leader, but you're just a human, you're a friend, you're a family member, allow those in your life to process things, because that's how people are enabled to move on to the what's next. And if you don't experience that grief or that negativity or that pain or that hurt, it just stays embedded within you.
Yeah.
And it rots there. And I know I can feel people shaking their heads as they listen to this.
I'm
You know what
I'm
I'm
shaking
talking
my-
about?
I'm
Yeah, I
shaking
see
my head,
Ash
yeah.
over there shaking her
Bouncing
head too. And it just lives in you insidiously, and it continues to just thrive and expand and grow until one day it just overtakes you so overwhelmingly. And you do not deserve that. You deserve safety and peace to be able to process things, to grow and to live and to thrive. You really, really do. So allow yourself that peace, that time, and that ability. And if you're in a position of power in your organization, support those around you to do the same.
Yeah.
Let them
Yeah.
feel. We all get the gift of feeling. That's why we're human.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And
Thank you. I get a little clap from
yeah,
Yeah, the golf
I mean
clap.
that preacher preach on.
Mm.
Like that is,
Yeah.
that. I love to.
we are
I
allowed
will.
to have feelings, and
Be
we're
your altar.
allowed to have negative feelings sometimes.
Yes. And you need them is the point.
Mhm.
Allow yourself, give yourself the privilege
Yeah.
to be human. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Just feel it so that you can go through it
Yep.
and come out the other side.
Yeah. That's
Mm.
true.
Mic drop.
What you got? You have a question?
No.
What? Okay.
No question or comment? Well, to that point, we'll be all positive to end this meeting.
I can't follow that up.
I'm such
Are
a
you
bitch.
fucking kidding
I'm
me?
such a bitch, right?
No,
Let me
but
get
like
on
she
that.
just did that amazing. Like that really was a mic drop
We'll
moment.
call that a joint effort. We'll just sign on to
No,
that. Just stand there
yeah,
and do the-
yeah, let's do
I
it.
had some
presentation.
statistics, but I'm like not
Yeah.
going to follow up some of my bullshit statistics with her mic
All
drop
right, you
moment.
can send us
like,
an
It's
email.
true.
This is if you would add that, that would be part of the meeting. That could have been email. So send us an email on that. I'll let Lee let me read that and let me know summarize the statistics.
y'all
I'll be
know.
counting up letters tonight.
Y'all know
We
I
all have
love to
our-
pontificate.
We have our homework.
Yeah.
Insidious is also a good word.
Yeah,
but
I just
okay.
love to share my feels a lot.
yeah, like I said, it was a mic drop moment. I don't
Oh.
know.
All right.
I'm not going to overshadow
We
that.
know. We know
Oh,
your hug
gosh.
stuff, Jamie. We respect it.
Well, we appreciate you joining this meeting, and we wish you all the feels, except the toxic positivity.
Yeah,
ones.
go get fucked.
Oh, that's toxic negativity. Bye-bye.